Sponsored by Squarespace.
おいで。おとなしくしててね。
You're looking at the most iconic quiet scene in cinematic history.
Is it the most iconic quiet
Near the
scene?
end of Spirited Away, protagonist Chihiro boards a train through the spirit world.
It is an amazing scene. In general, that entire movie is just goated. It is my favorite Ghibli movie. One of my favorite movies in general. Yeah, I love it.
After an entire movie
Oh yeah, but this is one of the more beautiful scenes because it's just so calm and you just see the landscape.
inside the bustling bathhouse,
No, not anything by the company. Not anything. For example, that dragon one from 2006, I forgot the name. Tales of Earthsea, for example, I don't think is very great. Also that 3D one, that recent 3D one, forgot the name of that one. They have some less than stellar movies, but a lot of them are amazing. I love the Cat in the Hat one. Oh, the Cat Returns, I think it was called. That is such an underappreciated one. I feel like nobody talks about it. Only 3 films so far: Kiki's, Howl's Moving Castle, and My Neighbor Totoro. Howl's Moving Castle used to be my favorite one as a kid, and I still have a lot of nostalgia for it. It's probably it's probably still in my top 3 personally, just because I have so much nostalgia for it.
After an entire movie inside the bustling bathhouse, the tranquility of this scene is striking. And so, for the next minute and a half, we ride with her. This scene has no narrative purpose. It's you and your uninterrupted thoughts. It's a moment to think about life. This quietness is not foreign to Hollywood. The 1982 Conan the Barbarian, as an example, features long travel sequences. In these shots, the film takes a breather and let the landscape speak for itself. Conan himself doesn't speak a word until 23 minutes into the movie, and when he finally...
Yeah, but that is not because the film was trying to be so calm and somber. It's because they just didn't want Arnie to speak. That's why he didn't have any lines in his early movies. Like in Terminator, he also only has a handful of lines. Like maybe, I think a total of like 80 words or something in Terminator. And in Conan, he was even dubbed because he had this Austrian, I almost said Australian. He had this Austrian accent that movie people thought would put people off. In Hercules in New York, they also dubbed him. I think they also did in Conan, right? I think all that has just been lost to time. The art of just letting things settle, to just appreciate the scenes that's being shown. In the mainstream. If you dig a little bit below the surface, you will find stuff, but this is, well, very obviously about mainstream movies so far. They also changed his name. Look at that beard is glorious. Don't shit on that beard.
He speaks is epic.
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you.
No, that is his voice. Okay.
Speaks is epic.
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you. And hear the lamentation of their women.
After over 20 minutes, isn't Conan the Barbarian only like 100 minutes long? So like 1/5 into the movie, you hear the first words, and they are these like powerful words. That is cool. I love that. Kind of also reminds me of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I love the entire reboot trilogy. When Caesar speaks for the first time, just that one word, no. And it's so powerful. It happens halfway through the movie. It's not like this quiet, somber movie up until then. No, it's not at all. But when he speaks for the first time, that is such a powerful moment.
1978 movie Superman, young Clark Kent says goodbye to his mom. The nearly 3-minute farewell is told mostly through a single still shot.
And that is amazing. I love that. I love good cinematography.
A few simple lines.
Hey, I love good cinematography. Implications of the films that come after were absolutely brilliant as well. Yeah. Get to the chopper.
Single still shot. Dotted this moment is a few simple lines which can be entirely removed.
Always remember.
The painting as visual, the body language, and the hesitant pace of the narrative are enough to tell the story.
Yeah? Yeah?
Today, however, we seem to have forgotten what stillness feels like. In
Oh
this
no,
flash-
no, 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 not Ant-Man 3. Yeah. I knew you would have to pull out some Marvel examples. But this is a very different video for him. He makes very interesting video essays, but normally about Asian movies, which I find super interesting, about like kung fu films you would have never heard of. I saw some of the thumbnails, like one of them had like some Italian kung fu film, so also like related movies. And this is a very different one for him. Well, not just kung fu movies, but just as an example, or like Asian horror movies or stuff, you know, Chinese animation movies that you would never hear of in the West. And I find those video essays super, super interesting. So this is a very different one for him. And, oh god, Ant-Man 3.
from Ant-Man 3, the Wasp retells a memory.
I have to disagree that this scene has to say it's literally showing that Superman with all powers still cannot save everyone. He even says that exactly in the film. But isn't that what Superman, in a way, that is his only weakness, basically? Yeah, you have the kryptonite, but that's cheap. He also did a video essay comparing the Ip Man movies to Superman stories. And in that, he mentions, I think it was called All-Star Superman, where he's dying of cancer. What is he gonna do with his remaining time? Is he gonna spend time with Lois, or is he gonna try to save everyone? He cannot save everyone. That is like the whole dilemma with his character, right? He cannot possibly save everyone. Gone to the extreme because he is dying of cancer to the extreme. What is he gonna do? What is his choice? That is the drama. That is the struggle, and that is interesting, I think, because yes, he is the strongest being ever. So nothing can touch him except kryptonite, but that's just a cop-out, right? That feels cheap. What can really hurt him to the core? What is an actual, genuine enemy that can hurt him? And that is the struggle of not being able to save everyone, even though he really, really wants to. I find that strong. I have to watch Enter the Dragon for ages now. I know it's a classic. Fuck, I forgot which one. I think it was Enter the Dragon that I managed to watch in cinema recently. It was amazing. Well, like a year ago, I mean.
Befriending the antagonist. It's a quiet scene where emotions flow.
I told her I was coming home.
And yet, instead of sharing a drink or doing anything, they sit still, and the scene is entirely dialogue driven.
We're going to get out of here.
Worse yet, it's a sequence with unnecessary voiceover.
I saw his mind. I felt what he had done. Entire worlds. Entire
I don't see the problem right now. This seems like a fine scene to me.
timelines gone. Like they never even existed.
Everything she says, we can see. You can almost watch the movie with your eyes closed.
Oh, okay. Unnecessary exposition. Okay. Right. Movies need to shut up. It's literally the title of the video. Okay, I see. I don't see it as that big of a problem in this specific movie, but I see.
Such is the norm in Hollywood blockbusters today. Even in movies I love.
You know, when you left, I lost my family. I've been fortunate enough to find another. And I wish nothing less than that for you.
Even in movies I think are great.
So, I would like my name to be Lila.
That's a pretty name, Lila.
It's all non-stop yapping. What changed?
Some people like to make criticism from anything. I guess in isolation, if you just see it in 1-2 movies and it kind of bothers you, that's okay, I guess. But if it's a constant trend and you just find it annoying because you like the quiet scenes of older movies and you just don't really get to see them anymore, I can see being frustrated to a degree and to make a video about that. There's actually one that I remember that has good cinematography, and I think it was called House of the Flying Daggers. That is one I'm ashamed to say I have never seen. I've seen the 36th Chamber of the Shaolin and some others, but not House of the Flying Daggers.
Of the most striking silence from Hollywood, my favorite is the 10 minutes leading up to the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah, no, I see the criticism. Imagine this quiet scene, you know, the calm before the storm, would just be exposition, would just be yapping, would just be talking nonstop. I see the criticism. Too much exposition bothers me. I kind of feel like it's better in the film to be shown, not told. Yeah, show don't tell. It's literally a saying, a phrase, right? Show don't tell. Sometimes telling is good, sometimes it works. But if you overdo it, then that was a big problem for me with Oppenheimer. It was just constant talking, and sometimes about things that had no relevancy to the overall story, just for the sake of it. I don't know, it felt long for the sake of being long. I don't know. That's what you call a person who knows what they want to show and knows how to show it. Yeah, absolutely. Or even soldiers in World War II for D-Day that said no one said a word. They all just looked forward listening to the gunshots. Yeah, and I believe that. I believe that because humans don't talk constantly. Human life is not a live stream where the person, the protagonist, in that case you know, you are the protagonist of your own life, where the protagonist talks all the time. That's just not how it works. Sometimes you are quiet. Sometimes you are, whatever, crying or just thinking or whatever. Things are quiet sometimes. That is important. I don't have as big of a problem with that as Accented Cinema does. I wouldn't make a whole video essay about that topic, but I see where he's coming from. Like, again, imagine this scene, but with constant talking, with constant exposition right now, with like a voiceover, detailing what's going on, whatever, or what's about to happen.
Silence from Hollywood. My favorite is the 10 minutes leading up to the Battle of Helm's Deep. From afar, the orc horde approaches. Wind, lightning, rain. The characters withhold their words, but the visual speaks loudly. The end is near, it says. This quiet foundation builds anticipation, and the battle feels more intense as a result.
It's also, I feel like it's a related concept to fear of the unknown in horror media. If you don't know what's coming, it is much scarier than if you know. If it's been told to you, if it's been shown to you, then you already know, then it's not as interesting anymore. I feel like it's of course a different thing, it's very specific to horror, but it is related in that, you know, if you break the silence, you kind of break all the tension. If you already know what's coming, less is more. Yes, thank you. Less is more, I think, is the core issue here. Less is sometimes more. Not talking can be a powerful tool. Silence can sometimes say more than 1,000 words, you know, that classic saying. It can be a powerful tool that some people just forget about, because it's easy to forget about. But if you don't, you can make your stories, your movies, your games, whatever, so much more powerful. It's easy to forget about silence because you want to show something, you want to talk, you want to have some kind of action going on. You want things to happen constantly, you want to keep the attention. So it's easy to forget about silence, about not saying anything for a second. But if you do it right, silence can be some of the most powerful scenes in the entire thing.
It's upon this silence, filmmakers crafted some of the most suspenseful moments. With larger-than-life actions and awe-inspiring destruction.
Oh, Akira. Akira is such a beautiful
That's
movie.
not to say dialogues are always bad. In fact,
But I have to say, the Akira manga that the movie is based on is even better.
That's not to say dialogues are always bad. In fact, even expositions have their place.
The terminal is in a black
Yeah,
vault
exactly.
lockdown. The only person allowed in the room has to
It's a good film until you read the manga. I disagree. I think the manga is much better, but I still think it's an amazing film.
pass through a series of security checks.
A crucial part of any heist film.
Because, well, you can say that about any movie adaptation of anything. Like, it's a good film until you read the original thing. I disagree with that notion. Movies can also be good. Yeah, can also just be good. You know, Edge of Tomorrow. I love the original work. but it's still an amazing movie. Same with Battle Royale. I love the novel. Actually, I have to admit, reading the novel made the movie worse in my eyes, but it's still a great movie. I disagree with that notion. I do think movies can still be great, even if you have read the book. I like a lot of movies better than the book. Can you name examples? It's a good film, just there's so much that was cut. Well, yeah, but because they had to. That's the thing. A movie is a different medium. The manga is, what, like 5-6 volumes or something? You can't do that in a single movie, in a single, like, 1.5, 2-hour movie. They had to cut stuff out. But that is the difference between good and bad adaptations. Bad adaptations don't know what they're doing. They're just cutting stuff out for the sake of cutting it out, just to make it shorter. Good adaptations know where to cut what and what to replace it with. Something smaller, some other kind of connecting piece, maybe another story beat to replace that with, to still make it make sense and make it flow well. I went on quite a bit after the end of the film as well. Yeah, true. Harry Potter. It's like asking why is this guy Picasso putting facial features all out of proportions? It's the audience to the audience to interpret what is happening, and it's also the director's choice to tell what's happening instead of leaving it up for interpretation. Yeah, but sometimes there is no real interpretation when there is silence. You know, again, the calm before the storm, like he showed before the battle in Lord of the Rings, and they're just looking at the hordes approaching. You don't really need anyone to tell you what's happening. And again, I also find it necessary. Exposition can be necessary. Like he's, I guess, about to show, because he's also saying the same thing right now. But sometimes it's just not. And again, I don't have as big of a problem with it as he does. Not at all. But I see where he's coming from.
That's not to say dialogues are always bad. In fact, even expositions have their place.
Like, there are movies that live off of dialogues. Inglourious Basterds, 12 Angry Men.
Terminal is in a black vault lockdown. The only person allowed in the room has to pass through a series of security checks.
A crucial part of any heist film is the setup of the heist.
The third system is on the floor and is pressure sensitive.
I'm gonna make a movie that is just pitch black. I'll narrate the entire thing to piss that guy off. The Man from Earth is a movie, 2008 I think, that I find pretty great. But you can literally watch that entire movie with your eyes closed. It is literally just a group of friends, I think 4 of them sitting in a room. One of them is about to move out, so this is like the last time they're sitting together. They're already moving all their stuff out. And that one guy decides to tell them his life story, which nobody of them knew before. And it is just, the movie is entirely, I think, set in that room. I think there are like a few flashback scenes, but you don't really need to see them, honestly. And the guy tells them his entire story. Most of that movie is literally them just sitting in a room and him telling the story. And it's an amazing story. I love that movie. But you can watch it with your eyes closed. It can work. Absolutely. Saw, you can't watch Saw with your eyes closed. Come on, it's a puzzle box room. It's like a puzzle box movie. You have to see where the puzzle pieces are. Also, only half that movie is in that one room. The other half is a police investigation. No, not Saw.
The slightest increase in weight will trigger the alarm.
The straightforward exposition ensures that the rules are clear and unbreakable. So, when the characters...
I never saw Saw. A shame. The first one is genuinely a great movie. A great mystery thriller.
...are clear and unbreakable. So, when the characters brush against these rules, it's extra exciting. Still, when the action gets going, it's quiet.
And that makes it more exciting. Imagine the voiceover was over this.
Dialogue can be fun.
Take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil, sorry, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over.
And yet, for as loud as Shaun of the Dead is, it knows when to shut up.
We just have to be extra quiet then.
I've searched for horror films. Saw is not a horror film. The later ones are. There is a subgenre called torture porn that is real, where movies are literally just basically torturing their characters, and that's what the thrill is. And the later Saw movies are that. The first one is not. The first one is very much a mystery thriller about two guys trapped in a bathroom trying to escape, and then the other half, a parallel storyline that it cuts between, is the police investigating and trying to find these two guys.
Indeed, my issue with movies today, especially with recent Hollywood productions, isn't the dialogue, but the lack of dynamic range. Like a roller coaster that only goes downhill, without the quiet anticipation of the climb, the drop wouldn't be fun.
I watched Saw 2 in the theater with some friends. That was enough for me for that entire genre. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The later Saw movies are that. 2 is where it started. 3 is where it really got going. But 1 is not that. And it's honestly, to me personally, it's kind of annoying that people still think it is. Because at this point, it's been... Was it 2003? At this point, it's been over 20 years, and people still think the first movie is that, just because they've never seen it. Just because the reputation of the later movies completely destroyed it. Completely destroyed the franchise. I hate that. The first movie is a genuinely good mystery thriller, and I stand by that, and I will always stand by that.
Drop wouldn't be fun. This is the longest stretch of silence in Inside.
An amazing mystery thriller with an incredible ending.
Like a roller coaster that only goes downhill, without the quiet anticipation of the climb, the drop wouldn't be fun. This is the longest stretch of silence in Inside Out 2, and it's only 30 seconds long. Here, Joy is at her most desperate.
But that is a really good scene, though.
Instead of diving inward for emotions, she has to outwardly express her feelings, using her words.
Come on, please. What am I missing?
Every single scene in this movie is yapping.
To your return. Are you?
Better than any. Okay, Miss Riley.
I find it deeply ironic that a film that deals with emotions refuses to stop and let us be with our own thoughts.
But it's a great movie. It's one of my favorite Pixar movies. Like, again, I see where he's coming from, but with this movie, I just love the movie. What can I say?
They fly now! They fly now?
Yes, we can see that.
Wait, what is this? What is this movie? By the way, remember when I was talking about bad CGI and they hide it with darkness? I don't know this movie. I actually don't know which movie this is. But if this monster is only ever visible in the darkness, that's how you know they were really not confident in their CGI abilities and just didn't want to show the whole thing. Because it's easy to hide bad CGI with darkness.
Yes, we can see that.
Oh, The Thing 2013. Wait, this was The Thing 2013? No, 2011. You mean The Thing, right? The prequel. That was 2011. They fucked up with CGI. Okay, I guess I haven't seen it in too long. But yeah, okay.
They fly now?
Yes, we can see that.
Did it just heal itself?
Yes, we can f***ing see.
What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
Show, don't tell is the most fundamental writing principle, and yet so many movies suck at it. Are Hollywood writers or hacks?
This is Katana. She's got my back. I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
My guess is no. For better or worse, this dialogue-heavy style is a conscious choice. Have you wondered why Netflix movie feels so Netflixy?
We barely know each other. We spent a day together. I admit, it was a beautiful day, filled with dramatic vistas and romantic rain. But that doesn't give you the right to question my life choices. Tomorrow, I'm marrying Paul Kennedy.
According to writer Will Taflin on N+1 magazine, Streaming platform executives often tell screenwriters to, quote, have this character announce what they're doing so that viewers who have this program on in the background can follow along.
Honestly, that might actually be smart. To be fair though, comic book films are different things altogether, as each character has their own story. You can't just dump them all in one place and say nothing. There has to be a little bit of... Yeah, that Suicide Squad scene, I didn't necessarily... Like, we are the Suicide Squad, whatever, but like, that, you know... But that, where he explained who Katana is, like, you kind of have to, like, her soul her sword traps the souls of the people. How would you otherwise know that? Yeah, I get it. But yeah. But like the previous two examples, it's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can see that. You don't need to tell me.
In other words, they produce the content for people to disengage with while working, playing video games, browsing TikTok, or, indeed, while you Netflix and chill.
And that is the thing. Many people do that. Myself included. That's not what movies were meant to be. Of course. But that's what many people do, so I can see why. I can see why they're doing it like this.
The movie is playing on a secondary screen, which you only look at some of the time. Kinda like most of you are doing right now.
Actually, well, most. Not for me, not me. I'm a real one, okay?
In this context, extended silence means the film has failed to provide background noise. Visual storytelling risks the story not being followed. And when that happens, viewers may switch to a different film, or worse, to a different activity. Immersion goes both ways. You cannot immerse an audience whose mind is somewhere else. That's why a true immersive cinematic experience is often only found in movie theaters. Going to the cinema means you are committing yourself to a ritual. You let the film guide you rather than exploring at your own pace. Unfortunately, this experience is dying.
There's a fundamental difference between over-explaining the scene and giving basic background. Yeah. It's just, I agree with the notion that some movies can also give basic background with visuals. I'm just thinking of the 2016's, no, the Suicide Squad, the new one, the 2021, right? Didn't it have in the beginning just a huge action scene where you saw each character what they can do, right? You know, you can, if I'm wrong, but it can apply to any superhero movie where you just see their powers. Or in an origin story where you see their powers develop. You see Iron Man working on that suit. You see what it can do. You see him trying to fly with it, you know. It is also possible to tell these things by showing, not by telling. But in some scenes, it can also be good to just tell. Like in that helicopter scene where he just said, yo, there's Katana, she got my back, you know. Yeah, that one was fine. He did say North America, movie theaters have kind of died down here. Aren't they kind of dying everywhere though, to be fair? I actually don't know about Belgium. The two theaters I have in my city seem to be doing pretty well enough at least. They're keeping up. Movie theaters are proper expensive here, they dead. I also find it pretty expensive. Well, one of them is pretty expensive, the other one is pretty cheap actually, but the other one only shows smaller, also indie movies, and sometimes older movies. That's where I saw Enter the Dragon. That's where I saw Pulp Fiction. I saw The Thing, the original one, in that theater. I love that theater. I saw Jurassic Park in there, for example, as well. I love it. Absolutely love it. Sadly, I missed RoboCop. They did a RoboCop and Terminator double feature recently. I had to miss it because I was broke. That would have been so cool. But yeah, the big one that shows all the new stuff, all the big new stuff, that one is also pretty expensive, I have to agree. But it doesn't seem dead. It seems that people still go there. Like, whenever I go there, there's still enough people, it seems. So, 16's Doctor Who is nice. Speaking of re-release, I saw the Terminator 2 3D re-release when it came out in theaters as well. Oh, I loved it. Terminator 2 being my second favorite movie. I also have the Blu-ray of that. Love it. I'm surprised they never made a RoboCop vs. Terminator movie. They made a comic. And I'm pretty sure a video game? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But they made a comic in the 90s, I think. But yeah, there are a few crossovers that just make sense that you would expect and that never happened. And some that did happen, but then the sequel never happened, like Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason was supposed to have a sequel that included Ash from Evil Dead. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. Never happened. But the original script, because it was actually in development, there was a script that was turned into a comic. And that comic exists. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash is a comic that exists. It even got a sequel comic. Pretty good stuff if you like that kind of stuff. Check it out. Groovy, yeah. Or other franchises, like for example, The Ring and The Grudge. Kind of makes sense. They're kind of both kind of the same thing-ish. Not really, but kind of. There is a crossover. Sadako vs. Kayako, 2016, Japanese. But some, like RoboCop and Terminator, for some reason never got crossovers. Such a shame.
Unfortunately, this experience is dying because movie theaters are dying in North America.
They are the same concept, it's just not the same thing, yeah. The curse word... I find the videotape inherently more interesting because it's just a more out there concept. Whereas with The Grudge, it's just this house is cursed, but that is a concept that is familiar to me, just in general, from mythology, from whatever. This house is cursed, you know? Whereas with the Ring, it's a videotape, and if you watch it, you get cursed and you die, and you can't do anything about it. Well, unless you can, but that is so much more interesting to me, just on a base level. But yeah, they are pretty similar.
Let's imagine this. You and your partner are planning a night out in a typical US city. You have to get to the movie theater. Since most US cities have no adequate public transit, you have to drive. Luckily, the mall you come to is dead, so there are plenty of parking spaces.
It's insane how many... Is that normal? Is that normal to have so many parking spaces? Are even half of them ever actually occupied? This is insane.
So there are plenty of parking spaces. The movie tickets cost $30 for two, more than an hour worth of your wage. You decide to skip the concessions. You had an okay time in the half-empty theater, but after the film is over, you and your partner can find a space to stay and talk about the experience. Multiplexes used to be in malls, because malls were public squares. People could hang out without spending money. It was a place to simply be. But now...
Well, my theater still has that, or both of them still have that, but people don't actually use that. They just peace out once they're done. That's about the same amount of parking as a big theater near me. But is such amount of... That is so much. Is it ever even half occupied? Like, from someone who actually lives in America, who actually knows. Can you tell me?
Malls are dead. So you either go to a bar or restaurant, which costs money, or you go home, which requires driving again. As you mindlessly follow the highway, you think to yourself, this all feels like a chore. This is the death of public spaces. We used to go to the cinema without a specific movie in mind. We used to go and decide on the spot. Back then, if we didn't like anything, we would just leave and go have fun in other places like the arcade.
Oh, Terminator 2!
But now, there are scarce few alternatives. Decades of car-centric design and low-density sprawl have compartmentalized our lives. To go out is to drive to a specific destination, not interacting with anything along the way. Privatization and consumerism turn public pools into private ones. The withholding of government funding threatens even public libraries. Wage stagnation made public spaces unaffordable. Everything is more expensive. Going out is a luxury.
Is it really like that in the US? Because that just sounds sad. That sounds depressing. I don't use the public spaces much, but they are there very much. Wherever I go, there are public spaces to just hang out, to just be. Is it really like this? That is sad. That's depressing. I don't go to the cinema much. Well, first up because it's expensive, but also it's kind of far away from me personally. It's not like... I don't have a bike or anything, so I would either have to rely on public transport or on walking, and if I don't want to waste money... if I don't, then it's like a 40-minute walk or something. That's just a lot. I don't do that for just anything. But this sounds depressing. There's two fairly near me. One small, the other one's big. The small one is on the main road, so there is no parking. The second one is a shopping center. Is in a mall. Is in a shopping center. There's a park near me with a nice pond and some trails, though you gotta watch where you step because of goose poo. I have a lot of public space to hang out with, but Jesus, the private spaces are getting expensive. That's such a shame.
People stop utilizing the spaces, they feel less responsible for them, and the behaviors reflect that mindset. According to Forbes, more than 1,200 malls have closed their doors in the US in 20 years. Movie theaters are also disappearing. Theaters are dying because everything else around it is dying. In 2020, a global pandemic sent much of the world into lockdown, which accelerated the death of public spaces.
I feel like, in a way, I mean, of course we're recovered from the pandemic, but in a way it feels like we didn't, because public spaces just got more expensive and less visited. People kind of got used to being isolated. At least some people. I feel like some people never really recovered from it. They just got used to being isolated and just don't go out anymore.
Since then, shops open for shorter hours, prices for going out became much higher. And so, movie ticket sales...
Yeah, that's also a thing. I feel like during COVID, things became more expensive. I feel like maybe I'm misremembering, but it felt to me like during COVID, things got a bit more expensive because, well, the shops kind of had to stay alive, but they never got cheaper again. They never adjusted back. Always kind of been a homebody personally. Same personally. Always sat in a room. I had no issues with that. My mom and my sister, however, did, as they like going out. Yeah, I mean, I would have liked going out, but I was a loner. Nobody wanted to hang out with me, so I was always in my room. To me, also personally, honestly, people complain about COVID. To me, nothing changed in my life. Quite literally, I never went out anyway. The only thing that changed is that now I had to wear a mask once a week when I had to do grocery shopping for my parents. Ooh, big deal. Nothing changed for me. So, yeah.
And box office plummeted, failing to recover to pre-pandemic level.
It's kind of crazy to see that box office kept going up, actually, still up until the pandemic. That's interesting. But maybe it could go up again. This is not a definite thing, you know, it goes up and down, up and down. This could still recover over time, but it just takes time.
This is also why the struggle of cinema is uniquely North American.
Also, it could still recover, also, of course, with everything else around it also hopefully recovering.
Despite the changing media landscape, movie theaters in India and China remain healthy. It's not that people prefer streaming over theaters, it's because people are disincentivized to even go outside. Today, our closest thing to a public square is the internet. It's where we post our movie reviews. It's where we go out and talk.
Hi.
We are losing access to the real world. Film studios, aware of this change, shifted their focus to streaming. Disney+, Paramount+, HBO Max, each studio started their own exhibition service. It all resembles the vertical integration from Hollywood of the past. With exhibition and distribution under one roof, films are now developed with streaming in mind. And so, silence is dead.
I love this guy's video essays. They're so well made. And that is such a good conclusion. Going full circle. Yeah, I love this channel. Accented Cinema. I just love this channel.
The worst part is, too many of us have accepted this as the norm. Every public space must financially justify its existence. Everything must be profitable on its own. The mindset is applied to education, public transit, housing, healthcare, TV broadcasts, and indeed, art. Everything is made for money. not for people. And because art is rarely, if ever, profitable, we are left with empty content. We get stuff we consume and forget. We get noise to silence our own thoughts. After all, who wants to think about life when there's so little life to think about?
God, that was such a good, and yet another, such a good conclusion. Like that last sentence, oh my god. That last sentence would be one I would be so proud about writing. That is such a powerful sentence. Anyway,